And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Up first, we've got still the message or announcement here for a NOAA weather radio outage that could go or went into effect at 2 p.m. Friday and will stay in effect until 5 p.m. through Monday, August 28th. And which stations? Well, Utaqagvik, Kotzebue, Nome, Bethel, St. Paul, Unalaska, Cold Bay, and Yakutat all could be affected. And weather forecasts and warnings and tsunami information will continue to be available online at weather.gov and both tsunami.gov. So looking at the hazardous weather graphic, we've got advisories out in the yellow shaded areas here. This is a high surf advisory, St. Lawrence Island and the Bering Strait coast, and also along the northwest coast here. For possible beach erosion with north winds gusting 40 to 50 miles an hour, kicking waves up that could wash at the top of the beach and again cause some possible minor beach erosion. And then over here, the other advisory for the eastern Alaska Range, or actually for all of the Alaska Range, for south winds gusting 40 to 55 miles per hour. And then up through the Kobuk, Koyukuk Valley, and southeastern Brooks Range, that's a flood watch for possible flooding due to heavy rainfall expected in that area. And also a flood watch out for the Susitna, Manuska Valley, all of south central Alaska, the Kenai Peninsula, as well as Prince William Sound and the Copper River Basin. Flood watch out for due to the heavy rainfall, and slow-moving front here should bring more additional rain into the Copper River Basin. And again, that's for possible flooding along all rivers and streams draining into the Susitna Valley, for example, or into the Copper River or the Kenai River, for example. And from there, looking at the fire danger, still some high fire danger here on the lee side of the eastern Alaska Range over the southeast interior areas, again, north of the Alaska Range. Otherwise, pretty low everywhere else, and some medium fire danger over the southern southeast coastal areas. And that's because they had sunshine, dry weather continuing actually across all the southeast coast today. Some areas of low clouds along with it, but basically high pressure off the coast here and aloft that extends into western Canada. And that directing most of this moisture northward, low pressure tracking northward here today brought those 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts across southern Alaska with anywhere from a half inch to over 2 inches of rain in the last 24 hours in some areas here in mostly south of the Alaska Range down across the Kenai Peninsula and western Prince William Sound. And kind of the one low hanging back here over the, or just south of Cape Newnham is another one tracked northward here across the western interior. A lot of clouds all the way out to the Arctic coast. A little bit of a break here over the central Bering Sea. Next system out here over the northwest Bering, or entering the western Bering, will kind of slide off to the southeast as another system develops and moves northward for Monday. And for the day today, here's that low tracking northward, troughs remaining down here to the south. And again, the lines in advance of the front, signifying that's where these stronger winds were. Again, some gusts to 50 miles an hour, anywhere from 30 to 50 miles an hour in many areas today as that front slowly edged eastward with moderate to heavy rains falling along with it there. And now moisture spreading in the Copper River Basin and slowly eastward along the North Gulf Coast, and even not so much on the lee side of the Alaska Range, but a little farther to the north, the Yukon Flats areas of rain developing. Very wet conditions back to the west and extending northward to the western Arctic coast. High pressure, kind of a break for the central western Aleutians today, although some moisture starting to move into the Shimiatu area. So you can see this low center starts to move southeastward a little bit. That'll spread rain into the western Aleutians. Adak and Attica stay dry. Even the Fox Islands probably staying dry there with a few showers possibly dropping in. But if that happens, very light. And a little more in the way of shower activity and rain, drizzle, low clouds, fog here over the southeastern Bering Sea and swinging into Bristol Bay. Another trough with some enhanced showers and rain over the Yukon Delta. Otherwise, rain becoming more showery and tapering off along with the winds really dropping off here over across south central Alaska. But those wind advisories continue for the Alaska Range tonight through tomorrow. Low tracking northward, slowly weakening as it approaches the Kobuk Valley, and the front also not making too much eastward progress here due to high pressure both at the surface and aloft over the northeast Pacific and into western Canada there, but slowly edging eastward. So I'll keep the rain going tonight for the Copper River Basin, North Gulf Coast areas. More spotty precipitation north of the Alaska Range, especially over toward the border. It stays dry over the Panhandle. That'll continue through Sunday as well with low clouds and fog, burning off in some areas in the afternoon, persisting in others, though, through the afternoon. Rain continues, but not quite as heavy along this frontal boundary, but stays wet for the Copper River Basin. And kind of surges of moisture, weak waves riding up that front will keep periods of rain and showers going over Kenai Peninsula up into the Susitna Valley. Bristol Bay could clear out a little bit there, and then another trough keeps it wet over the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, right up under the low center here, much of the northern, north-central interior, on out to the western and central Arctic coast. Looking at a wet day for the day Sunday. High pressure here keeps winds light for the eastern Aleutians. Dry conditions from the Alaska Peninsula all the way out to Atka Island. This system spreading rain into Adak in the afternoon, and then it kind of rotates, a new low forms here and rotates northeastward, spreading rain into Unimak Island late in the afternoon there. Otherwise, the eastern Bering Sea, not too bad. Light winds and a fair amount of clearing from the Bering Strait all the way down to the Alaska Peninsula. Another system moving northward here toward Kodiak Island, actually staying even south of Sitka through the afternoon, but the southerly southeast wind flow pushing that warm front right into south central Alaska with an increase in the rain late Sunday night continuing through Monday. Lighter rainfall amounts along the eastern North Gulf Coast, dry north of the Alaska Range, upper Tanana Valley, 40-mile country, maybe a few showers, more of a chance of showers over the Brooks Range down into the Kobuk Valley, and dry for the Arctic coast and North Slope, and the Panhandle stays sunny or stays dry and warm under upper high pressure. And for the lows down there tonight in the 50s, all those areas, same thing across southern Alaska here, out to the west into the north, 40s to lower 50s, mostly in the mid to upper 40s for the Bering Sea, and around 40 for St. Lawrence Island. Highs tomorrow, 65 to 75, eastern interior near 70 or upper 60s for the Fairbanks area, Tanana about 60, Ambler 59, Galena 59, highs in the lower 50s for the southwest coast. 40s for the western Arctic coast, upper 50s on the east side there, and upper 60s to mid 70s for the Panhandle, warmest in the southern areas. And then for the lows, about the same as what we see tonight, although some upper 30s showing up here up over the northwest along the western Arctic coast into the Brooks Range, and lower 40s over the western interior, pushing into the Kuskokwim Valley, so a little cooler here inland areas, mid 40s now in the Tanana Valley, and lower 50s south central Alaska. That'll be followed by highs Monday afternoon, 55 to 62 south central Alaska, mid 60s the Copper River Basin. Still very nice here over the Panhandle, 70s, upper 70s down toward Klawock over to Misty Fjords, 50s here for the Aleutians.